This U.S. Navy supercarrier displaces 95,000 tons and cruises at over 30 knots. But the Navy once had aircraft carriers twice as fast and much lighter. In fact, they were lighter than air. This is the U.S. Navy airship Macon in 1935. The Macon lowered airplanes and launched them in midair, a maneuver that invited comparisons to performers in a circus.
He floats through the air with the greatest of ease, the daring young man on the flying trapeze. His actions are graceful, all girls he does please, and my love he has stolen away.
But it was not all fun and games for the flying aircraft carrier. The Navy commissioned 6 of the helium-filled rigid airships from 1923 to 1935, and 4 of them would eventually crash. By 1935, the Navy was still convinced the man on the flying trapeze had a future, and they had a bona fide escape artist to prove it. Navy Commander Herbert V. Wiley had survived the crash of the Shenandoah, riding it to the ground in an Ohio thunderstorm in 1925. 9 years later, he lived through the crash of the Akron, washing out through a cabin window after it plunged into the cold night waters off the coast of New Jersey. Only Wiley and 2 others survived.
The Navy dirigible Akron is gone. 73 homes are desolate, in mourning for men who will not return.
In a last-ditch effort to prove the ships could work, the Navy put Wiley in command of their sole remaining airship, the USS Macon. It would not be long before Herbert Wiley would once again have to live up to his name.
Navy Department, Bureau of Navigation, Washington.
It's up ship for Navy Day at Sunnyvale, California, as the giant dirigible Macon goes aloft on a demonstration flight.
Crossing Point Sur, the Macon's tail rudder was torn off by high wind, rendering it uncontrollable. Wiley's skill in managing the crash limited the loss of life to just 2, but the Macon sank beneath the waves, and with it, the Navy's hopes for lighter-than-air warships. But that was not the end of the story. One of those upon whom the Macon had cast its giant shadow was David Packard. A young engineering student at Stanford University in the 1930s, Packard more than once had been drawn to the window of his classroom by the sight of the giant airship, flying between its hangar at Moffett Field and test maneuvers over the Pacific. Many years later, this co-founder of the Hewlett-Packard Company became convinced that the airship was a maritime treasure, a part of American history that should be recovered and remembered. It was a philosophy shared by the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary, which monitors and protects natural and historical treasures in the coastal waters where the remains of the Macon currently rest. In 1996, Packard launched the search effort that ultimately located the remains of the Macon off Point Sur. Using an unmanned submersible positioned by satellite, researchers in 2006 were able to map the wreckage on the sea floor.
Using the remotely operated vehicle Tiburon. And Tiburon is equipped with high-definition cameras. And we basically go out and mow the lawn, navigating in one direction across the entire wreck site, and then the ROV will maneuver over and then reverse the course and overlap the same images to create ultimately a seamless photo mosaic in high definition.
Here, like the bones of an ancient dinosaur, are the final remains of the Macon, the last remnants of the age of the giant airships. Her outmoded technology and her lost men, who once served the nation's defense, have now become a bridge to a new era of men and machines in the service of exploration.